ayes, 4 present. Welcome to the special meeting of the Okemos Board of Education held in public for the purpose of conducting the business of the school board. Special meetings of the board are often called for a specific purpose with limited items. The agenda will offer no less than one opportunity for the public to address the board on any subject. Individual comments at this time will be limited to 3 minutes, but may be extended at the discretion of the board president. A designated timekeeper will communicate to the individual who is addressing the board at 3 minutes. There will be one opportunity for public comment. This portion of the agenda is near the end of the meeting for anyone who wishes to comment on any subject. Our first and only item of business tonight is a student discipline hearing. Because it is not requested to be in closed session, we are now deal with our one topic tonight. Just to let you know how it's going to go tonight. The hearing portion of the tonight's agenda, the school administration will present its side of the story, an opportunity to, and the board will have an opportunity to ask any clarifying questions, and the student representatives will also have that opportunity. Next on the agenda will be an opportunity for the student and the student representatives to make any clarifying statements or questions to the administration, and then there will be concluding statements, an opportunity from the school representatives, and then concluding statements from the student and the student representatives. Then the board will ask any questions of the student and the school representatives. At that point, when the board has determined that there's enough information, we will go to a private room to deliberate. At the time, we will then reconvene out here, and we will present our decision to the room. Okay? So that's kind of the procedures for tonight.
Madam Chair?
Yes?
I have a question regarding the procedural matter. You indicated that we would go into closed session?
No.
To deliberate. You just indicated...
I said we were going to go into a private room to deliberate.
Exactly. That would be considered a closed session.
Yeah,
and
we have to
it's not
stay in
within
open
the
session.
purview of 267.
Okay.
So the only way we can go into closed session is at parent request.
So the deliberation has to be out there in public. Okay. I was not aware of that. I've never done a disciplinary hearing in public. It's always been a closed session, so I apologize for that. Okay. The first line. Sure. Thank you. We will start with introductions of everyone. I am Amy Kreitz. I'm the board president.
I'm Tanya Rodriguez.
Melanie Lynn. Kathy Ash, superintendent.
I'm Felix Sharp.
Lisa Swen, school district legal counsel.
Christine Cermak, high school principal.
Russ Farrell, high school assistant principal.
Stewart. Student. Howard Spence. I am an attorney, an arbitrator, and I'm on the executive board of the American Civil Liberties Union in the Greater NC area.
Sophia Stewart, Timothy Stewart's mother.
His sister.
Okay. Now it's time for the high school, the administration to...
Madam Chairman?
Yes.
I just need clarification on the procedure. When the school board makes its presentation, will there be an opportunity to cross-examine anyone? Will the testimony be under oath, or will it just...
This is a school board hearing. This is not a court of law. So
Right,
there will
I'm
be
just
no
asking
cross... I
procedure.
mean, you can certainly ask clarifying questions of the administration at the time that it is appropriate.
And I'm allowed to call witnesses?
Sure.
Okay.
That is part of your presentation to the board.
Right, and they could be administrators and staff of the school board. So, that's fine.
Okay. All right. High school administration?
Yes, I would like, on behalf of the administration, I'm going to provide a brief overview of the issues before the school board tonight for deliberation based on the investigation and recommendation from the administrative team. On May 22nd, the student engaged in behavior in Ms. Holmes' English class that led to the involvement of high school administration. Mr. Verrill will be describing to you what his investigation determined and the particular details of the incident. On May 28th, high school administration met with the student and his mother to review the allegations, provide opportunities for responses and further discussion about the matter, as is standard practice at your school. Subsequently, the administration charged the student with 3 violations of the Student Code of Conduct. Number 3A, intimidation and threat directed to an adult. Number 8, disruptive behavior. And number 9, insubordination. Additionally, based on the student's pattern of disruptive behavior, he is also being charged with persistent disobedience. It should be noted that the student does receive special education programming. Accordingly, a manifestation determination review was conducted and determined that his conduct was not substantially related to his disability, which is categorized as learning disability for math. The recommendation from the high school's administration is that the student be expelled. And you'll hear from high school principal Cermak as to the rationale for that expulsion. It's important to note that all matters regarding this particular disciplinary matter fall within the Student Code of Conduct. There is not a statutory mandate for the board to take action. The authorization for the board to act is under Section 1311, subsection 1, which allows the Board of Education to suspend or expel a student for gross misdemeanor or persistent disobedience. And so it's the violation of the Code of Conduct, as I've outlined, that is the basis of the charge. As you listen to information presented by the administration as well as by the student and the student's representatives, there really are 2 issues for the board to consider. 1, did the conduct occur as alleged? And 2, if so, if you find by a preponderance of the evidence, meaning is it more likely than not that the conduct occurred, then what is the appropriate consequence? The consequence in this situation, should you find the conduct occurred, is within your good, sound discretion. Again, you are not compelled to take certain action as a matter of state statute, as you might otherwise be in other circumstances. So with that overview, I'm going to ask Assistant Principal Verrill to describe to you the factual basis for what led to the charges and the scope of his investigation.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, ma'am, to interrupt. I may have missed the procedure. Was that an opening statement? I need to wait till 9. Is that the procedure?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry to
No
interrupt.
problem. It's, yeah, no problem.
Did you get a copy of the procedures?
As much paper, I'm sure I did.
Yeah, in fact, one is right in front of Ms. Stewart, I think.
Oh, okay, let's see, everybody's sharing my paperwork, thank you.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think you all have them, but I saw hers was on top, so I thought that might be the easiest. Okay.
Okay, on May 22nd, in Tim's English class, the teacher is Ms. Holmes. Ms. Holmes was working with students trying to get the class settled to get started, and was trying to get some of the students on task. And she particularly had to work with one student in class to try to get him to stop talking. He kept talking, and the teacher finally said, you know what, I need you to stop talking for at least 15 minutes. or you're going to receive a detention. So, and I want you to repeat it back to me so you know, so I know you heard. He repeated it back and got to task. And voices were lowered and things, he started to work. Tim was seated one computer over from the student, and Tim started to ask him, are you going to take that? And so on. The boy just ignored Tim, but Tim continued to talk to him. So the teacher, Mrs. Holmes, turned around and said, again quietly, not trying to embarrass anyone or create confrontation, Tim, this boy doesn't need your advice right now. I asked Tim to read a story that I've asked him to read for the past week. And he responded very loudly, for the benefit of everyone, you better watch yourself, you better get out of my face with that, I'm not. And then he repeated the boy's name that she was trying to get on task. The teacher immediately wrote him a detention, which Tim threw on the floor and landed near the teacher. The teacher wrote another detention and just simply let him know that there was a second one, but she did not hand it to him. Her sense was, whatever, from her point of view, he needs at least 2 detentions, and so that was the incident that occurred at that particular time.
And based on that incident, describe how the facts as you learned them support the charges of intimidation that are threats directed toward an adult, disruptive behavior, and insubordination.
Well, it was done in, obviously, the behavior was done in class in front of all the other students, so we have disruptive behavior there. It was said out loud. The direct quote, you better watch yourself and you better get out of my face. We, the administration, felt that was a direct threat toward one of our teachers. And the fact that Tim wouldn't quiet down and get started and continue to argue with the teacher regarding what was going on in the classroom became an insubordinate type of behavior in that incident.
Describe to the board what happened next in terms of your involvement and investigation.
Well, I brought Tim in and talked to Tim about what took place, and he indicated that indeed he did say those words. He said that he felt very badly about him. We have had incidences before, which is part of the behavior, part of the pattern of behavior, disruptive behavior, and also threats. He said at the time that he knew it was wrong, but he said it. And we've had conversations before about saying things to adults and those types of things. And Tim seems to get it when I talk to him, but he continues to have that same pattern of behavior time and time again after being having discussion, trying to counsel him on making better choices in the classroom, how we treat one another, and how we treat the teachers and everything else. At that point, Tim was suspended from school and continued to take a look at this as an administrative team. He decided that because we do have a pattern of behavior with threats towards adults and our dealing with him, and also the disruption, we felt we would move forward with the expulsion process.
Some additional questions. Focusing on the May 22nd incident, did Tim explain his behavior to you? Did he say, I did it, and here's why I did it?
Yes.
Well, tell the board what he told you, please.
He indicated that this was an accurate account of what took place. He did say that. He also indicated that he thought that Ms. Holmes was struggling a little bit to get the class on task. When he was brought to, task and asked to do his work, he responded by saying it first. And so there really wasn't a lot of discussion, if you will, on why he said that he realized he should have.
And he said that to you, that he realized he made a mistake? Okay. But he offered no explanation or justification for his conduct. Now, you also described to the board a pattern of disruptive behavior, and indeed that is an additional charge against the student. Please explain what you rely on to support that charge.
Well, I guess there's two areas of where we'd be looking at. One is that if we're looking at, this is the fourth time he has threatened an adult, 3 times towards Ms. Holmes and 1 towards his Spanish teacher. And we are looking at a pattern of behavior that threatens adult teachers in our building. This was the 4th time that it occurred. Each time before that, he was suspended from school. And so we tried to work with him to try and get him to change behavior. But that does not seem to be working. And so there's that pattern of behavior. Also, we have in your possession a discipline log for Timothy. As you can see, as you go through this discipline log, there are many incidences that are disruptive. There are patterns of aggressive behavior in his discipline log, not only towards male students, but also a female student at one time. And so as we continue to take a look at what's going on with him and how the disruption continues, it really isn't, it wasn't getting better. We felt that it was being part of the rationale for being expulsion.
Any other factual information about the student and this matter you wish to share with the board?
No, I think that incident and the fact that, again, there is a pattern of behavior that is continuing. We want to provide a safe environment for all our students at all times, and that's what we're doing. Students and staff.
Thank you. Mr. Spencer, I'm going to anticipate perhaps a question regarding procedure. I'm next going to ask Mrs. Cermak questions about the recommendation, and then I have nothing further. Then it will be your opportunity to present your case, and if at that point you wish to ask clarifying questions to either administrator, you will do so. Thank you very well. Mrs. Cermak, you're familiar with Tim and the particular circumstances related to the charges. Please explain to the board, as the board's high school principal, the basis for your recommendation that Tim be expelled from the Okemos Public Schools.
As you know, bringing a student to the school board for expulsion is never an easy thing for any of us. Looking and